everybody, to another episode of Fantasy Football Picks and Bets, presented to you, as always, by PrizePicks. That's right. I'm your host, Lauren Carpenter. You may know me as Stepmom Lauren, and we are talking preseason, week 3, ways to make some cash. But remember, everybody, I know this may sound like I'm repeating myself because I am. PrizePicks.com, everyone, promo code MMN. Why? Because your deposit of up to $100 gets doubled. That means $50 is $100 and $100 is $200 for you to spend some money to make some money. You guys, PrizePicks.com is a lot of fun. It's kind of my new obsession. So please go ahead, go to PrizePicks.com, promo code MMN. There's also a link in the description of this video as well. Make sure you do it, sign up, follow along with us in this video too. We're going to have a ton of fun. And speaking of fun, I have my friend, my buddy, back to join us for this preseason Week 3 Friday edition that we are bringing to you to make some money on a Friday before that weekend. You know, cheddar and fun, dude. That's how we roll. Scott Simpson, welcome in again, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you? How you been? It's been a while.
You know, I'm doing great because the last time we talked, I think we were talking of Jameis Winston and Marquez Callaway. We were talking up Taysom Hill for PrizePicks. We were talking down some running backs. So, you know, across the board, I think we did pretty good. I think we hit 5 of 6. And then if you played DFS and you took the DraftKings advice, you're probably just raking in the cash right now. So I loved it. I told my wife, I said, one of the best podcasts I've ever done. Like when you say something and then it happens and then the people were great. So I loved it. Can't wait to do it again tonight. Talking Friday games. We got 4 of them this time. We got a bunch more to talk about, not just one game, but 4. So it's going to be great.
I'm so excited. And I know, I love how he's trying to give me credit here. This was all Scott Simpson, who came in with the fire advice to make some money. And that is great because I really enjoyed your company as well. And we're going to do it again tonight. So what do you say? We've got Friday, like I said, up on the docket, everybody. Go to prizepicks.com, promo code MMN. Go ahead and follow along with us because we're going to go right through those category tabs. We're going to start with rushing. We're going to go to passing and then receiving. So my friend, Scott, why don't you take it away with your rushing over-unders that you have for PrizePicks?
Oh, yeah. Well, first thing I just want to say is there's a bunch of picks already up, which is great. So you've got all night tonight to go look and isolate who you want to play, the guys that you think are going to hit or not, depending on the game script. So let's start with rushing. A couple low totals. Ty Johnson has kind of been operating with the first team. So if he does play a lot, I do love him to crush that 17.5 over. I'm not sure how much run he's going to get, so just kind of pay attention to that, game time. A lot of the starters are getting pulled from different groups. So far, the Jets have really been like pedal to the metal, though. They really have. They got the new coach. They got the new look. They got the new quarterback. I'm not sure he'll play this game if I have the second string in, but it's next man up. They're trying to do a good job. And on the other side, the Eagles, they've given up 181 rushing yards so far. So, I mean, there is an opportunity there for Ty Johnson. I like that in that game. Jumping over to another game, the Detroit Lions are going to be playing the Indianapolis Colts. 2 teams that both are kind of hitting up some hardships. One, Detroit is just Detroit. They've got a knee-eating coach in Dan Campbell. We all love him. He's an eccentric, so excited he's around. But they didn't look good. We talked about it last week. They couldn't tackle Najee Harris. He's running all over the board like a Madden game. So, Jordan Wilkins, 23.5 rushing yards. I think that's really close. I think they can do that. Detroit's giving up about 100 yards per game so far. So I think both of those are in like the realm of possibility. And kind of in that game, the way I'm looking at this is kind of game script. Detroit is probably going to be losing. They've not done a great job so far in the games they've played. They got some passing yards in there against Pittsburgh, which was a little surprising. But, their rushing game hasn't been great. So I'm kind of looking at this game as, a game where Indianapolis might dominate a little bit. Their defense has been one of the better defenses so far. So it gets some run on the ground. I think it happens. Jumping over to the Kansas City game, I think you've got 2 good opportunities for running backs, rush defenses that are in the bottom half of the league. And so even in the preseason so far in the bottom half. So Amir Abdullah is looking at 23.5 rushing yards. I like the over in that. I think that hits. If he gets enough volume, he's gets 7-8 carries. I think he gets there too. And then Jerick McKinnon, who, if he plays, he might not play. Who knows, how they do all this. I know CEH was doing walkthroughs and stuff. So just kind of monitor that. If they're going to need him maybe for the opening season, they pull him. But, 19.5 rushing yards, that's not a lot either. So I think all of these are kind of low totals, and they're up against defenses that kind of do give up the rock in rushing. So that's what you're kind of trying to target here, even though it might not be the first team. If their team isn't really good at stopping the run, it's not like their second team's going to come in and be like, we're the incredible at stopping the run. We're just not around, so the first team, they're probably indicative of the second team to some degree. So I like all four of those to go over. I'm looking for overs today. I'm not going unders. I'm not, except for one. I got a Tim Boyle under coming up. But those are my rushing totals. There's a lot to target, though, so don't get confined to those four. I think those four just made the most sense in my game script. I kind of thought the games are going to go.
I love it. And so what I did as you were talking, Scott, was I went ahead and just clicked. I'm like, over, lock it in, let's go. Because that's how we do this. This is the fun of it, right? It's not the regular season. It's not our official fantasy season yet. But this is how we can, really enjoy watching sometimes meaningless preseason, but it's not meaningless if there is money on the line, or if it's your team. But, or your team could have divorced you and, went back to their second wife. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all. Okay. Let's just move right along. Let's go to passing. Who do you have on over-unders for passing, my friend?
Oh, man. So, a couple of different over-unders we talked about the Indianapolis Colts versus the Detroit Lions. In that game, Jacob Eason has the biggest total of passing yards out of all of the quarterbacks. He's got 112.5 passing yards. I like it, though. I really think that Detroit is not that great. They're giving up 234 passing yards per game so far in the preseason, and it doesn't mean they're going to give up that many necessarily in the first half, but I think they want to see what they have in Jacob Eason. Carson Wentz is kind of back on track. He's practicing limited. So that looks good. But just in case, let's kind of see what we have with Eason. And so I think that's a nice number. Detroit's a beleaguered secondary. And then on the other side, Tim Boyle, 79.5 passing yards. I don't know how much time he's going to play. If he gets a half, it's definitely reachable. But if he's only in for a quarter or maybe, 4 or 5 series, depending on how those series play out, the Colts are only giving up 173 passing yards per game. They're pretty stout. They've been a pretty good job on defense so far. So if he's in there for a long extended period of time, it happens. But I just think that in general, you're going to see Blau time.
Blau. We need like a comic. We need to get our producer extraordinaire. Yeah, we need to get our producer extraordinaire, who is now behind the scenes looking at me like, why don't do this? Don't do it. But we need like a Blau. You know what I mean? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, David Blau. Right. So
David Blau, go.
I think David Blau might have. He's not on the board. I think I would go David Blau. Myself. So that's my only under. Boyle, I'm taking the under. Not another quarterback situation. Dwayne Haskins gets the start in against Carolina for Pittsburgh. His over is 94.5 passing yards. I like that. I'm going to take the over. I think they're going to give him a chance to unleash, see what he can do. The Panthers are giving up close to 250 passing yards per game, and so that kind of goes well with that narrative of kind of maybe giving Dwayne Haskins a half to see what he can do. If he's in it long enough, I think he busts that, and gets over the 94.5.
I love this. I especially love this because I'm literally following along and clicking over. I agree. Under. I agree. This is going to be really exciting because, Scott, next time when we do this, we're going to go ahead and have the check mark on how well we did with money in the bank, which I love. So let's go ahead and finish out those categories for our prize picks. We already went over rushing. We've already gone over passing. So let's finish this out with receiving. Who do you have here, my friend?
So I did say I liked overs. I'm going to go with one under to start just to kind of get it out of the way. So Quez Watkins, I like what he's done so far, getting a couple targets here and there. He's got 24.5 receiving yards. It seems really reachable. All these numbers, by the way, are kind of really reachable, really tangible. And in these preseason games where we don't know what's going to happen, they could go either way, of course. And PrizePicks has done a good job of kind of setting that action line in a very, accessible way. Only thing I will say is the Jets have only given up in 2 games a total of 200 receiving yards. So we're talking about them giving up a quarter, of that per game, to him. I don't know if that's going to happen in this game to one receiver for the Eagles unless he gets a big pass. I'm going to fade that one just on probability.
I'm going to jump in on here with you too, just to kind of give you an idea for the redraft fantasy for dynasty folks out there. This is going to be very interesting to me because I believe this is going to be the first time we're sealing Jalen. This is where my day has gone. Sealing Jalen. We're going to be seeing Jalen Hurts. nailed it.
Nailed it.
Boom. And Devontae Smith together, because week 1 we saw Jalen Hurts, no Devonta Smith, and then week 2 we saw Devonta Smith but no Jalen Hurts. So now we finally have both of them together. So I'm wondering how much of this play calling and how much of this experimentation is going to be to see what kind of chemistry that those two can get moving forward. Devonta Smith is the rookie wide receiver that they are bringing in, hoping to have some kind of solid wide receiver depth there for the Eagles. So I really like that idea, because as much as Quez Watkins has been like super exciting to watch, I think that is kind of the realistic expectations. And I personally, outside of PrizePicks here, I'm looking at for the season long. I'm very curious to see where that Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith connection goes. I nailed the Jalen Hurts because there wasn't any ceiling seeings or anything, but I got it. I got it. So
yeah, that's what it was.
I know. I can't even probably say that, and I won't try. But I will let you go ahead and go on with your passing now that I have very rudely interrupted you. But I can't.
Oh,
no. I'm a host.
Lauren, you're always welcome to interrupt anytime. It's a welcome interrupt. So I appreciate it. So talking about, passing and in that same game, the Eagles are second to last in the preseason. They've given up 537 passing yards. That's not great. You've only played 2 games. So, I like Jeff Smith and Braxton Berrios, both. They're 23.5 receiving yards. If you like one over the other, you could go, either one. You could go both if you want to double up. I think that at least one of them is going to get over, if not both are going to get over this. Just the Eagles are not a great team. They got a new coach. They're trying to figure things out. And so I'm seeing that game as kind of maybe more jet-sided in the new coach off. I think and I got to know, do we say it Robert Saleh? Is that how we say his name for the Jets? I've always thought that. I want to make sure I'm not mispronouncing that. Is that correct?
I've heard it Robert Saleh. But I really go back to the movie with, I believe it was Orlando Bloom, who I love as Legolas. This is totally going off the cup here. But Salahadin was one of the names in there, which is so much fun to say. So when you say Robert Salah, isn't that so much more like, let's go out and have a steak dinner as opposed to Robert Saleh? I don't know. Either way, his name is Robert Salah. Salah. I don't know. Yeah. Well, head coach of the Jets.
I think they're gonna fillet.
Nice.
Sorry, I just a little bit over there, and so I like both of them. And then jumping around a little bit to Anthony Johnson, I like him getting over 21.5 receiving yards. There was not many Pittsburgh receivers on the board there for PrizePicks, but if you're going to let Dwayne Haskins kind of air it out, see if he can make that third quarterback, see if he's viable on the team, why not have a receiver there that he's going to be targeting? And I know Anthony Johnson will get a little bit of run. I read that Mike Tomlin not going to have the starters out there except for the O-line, which is good. You don't want your quarterback to kind of get destroyed, so he wants to kind of see how he can perform getting some protection, which I love. Jumping over to the game I haven't really talked about that much, but the KC Minnesota game, Byron Pringle has an over of 23.5 receiving yards. He's looked great so far. The Giants secondary has given about 225 passing yards, so I can see 1/9 of that going to Byron Pringle. He catches one, it goes in the seam. He can do that in a play. So Kemp was on there too. I don't know if I want to play too many receivers, but I think this game can get up. It's got the biggest total on the board at 38.5 over there on DraftKings, I believe. So, I think those are the ones that stood out to me. But it will always be adjusting, and the ranks will be adjusted. So if anything stands out to you, let me know, and I can adjust my ranks.
I love it because I've already locked all of those in because I'm following along. I'm over. Yep. Nailed it. Got it. And everyone, again, this was prizepicks.com for our Friday slate. Remember, promo code MMN, prizepicks.com, or there is a link in the description of this video just to make it that much easier because you should. This is fun. I absolutely love doing this. It's an easy way to make some extra money and really enjoy our final preseason week before kickoff, which is very exciting. But there are also other exciting ways that we can enjoy preseason besides just PrizePicks. We also have DraftKings Daily Fantasy that we can take a look at for Friday as well. So Scott, why don't you let me know what kind of contest should we be targeting and who should we be targeting to build our lineups around for Friday?
Oh man. So, and this is the tricky part where,
very vague and open-ended question.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great question. I would say for me, I want to look at single entry tournaments. I don't want to be going up against, other professionals in the biz necessarily who, let's say that they just have a plethora of lineups at their disposal, so if you've got one shot, I think that's a nice way to kind of to look at it. You got one bullet in the chamber, everybody else does too. So I look for those contests. Maybe you can get a $10 to $15. You'll have a nice shot. Your money will be live. And even if you're up against some professionals, maybe their lineups are not as not always going to be auto generated, but maybe they have a more of an even playing field, since anything can happen on a given Friday, as we're going to say. But with that being said, for me, I looked at the matchups to start with, and we talked about Matt Kajewski a couple of times in last show. And
no. His name is Matt Gesicki.
Or Matt Gesicki, either one.
I'm totally messing. Inside joke. Matt Kajewski is actually his real name.
Yes, when he catches a touchdown, Gesicki does this year, we'll just go, Matt Kajewski caught a touchdown.
Matt Kajewski!
Yeah. He'll be like, what is this? Why is Lauren and Scott? What is going on? So he's like the nicest guy ever, by the way. Go follow Matt _ Kajewski over there on Twitter. But I looked at the defenses, and I said, the two defenses I want to kind of play this week are either the Colts or the Jets. They're the ones that kind of give up the least amount of yardage, least amount of points per game. So that's where you're kind of looking in these kind of games. Also, I think they have a chance for turnovers, and listen, anytime the Lions are playing, there's a chance for a turnover. So that's going to be great all season. I can't wait to watch all of them. I want to watch the press conferences. I want to have Dan Campbell streamed into my morning, drive to work, whenever he's talking on a mic. I want to just hear him in my ears, and I want to know he's putting his hair behind his head, and he's doing all kinds of stuff, touching his hair. So, I'm really excited for that. So either one of those defenses, I digress. Then I'm going to look at tight ends, and we saw what Pat Freiermuth did last week. He really busted out 2 touchdowns. That was great. Big Ben looked better, and other people look better. And so, if we can put him in there, I like that. Carolina, their defense is not great. They were giving up a lot of passing yards, and they're like 28th, I think, ranked against. No. Am I in big trouble here? She's leaving the set. I think they're ranked 28th against tight ends. So, there's something big coming over here. Lauren is off the set. What does she have? What is this? Oh no, it's the Lions.
Not only is it the Lions, but this is a signed Matthew Stafford Lions helmet. You want to know what's even more sad about this whole situation? I stole this from my husband that I gave to him for Christmas. And then I just knocked over my whole shelf. So I'll have to keep redoing that. But I disparage the Lions quite a bit. But there are ways to profit off of being disparaging.
Of course.
But just so everybody knows, I still have Lions love.
Yes.
That I stole from my husband. I should not be proud right now, but I am.
I think it all works, though. For this story, a stolen helmet, a love for the Lions,
fighting kneecaps, stealing helmets. Let's go.
Yeah, it's helter skelter. Lions 2021, ride or die, and there's gonna be a lot of dying. But I do think that in this situation, you can target both those defenses, and then add Pat Freiermuth as your tight end. I like, and a couple of the wide receiver stacks with the QBs I was looking at so far is, PJ Walker is going up against the Pittsburgh defense that you think is pretty stout on the top, but they've given up a ton, and not just a ton, the most receiving yards, the most passing yards so far in the preseason. So they're trying to get things figured out back there, and they're not going to play a lot of the starters. So, anytime PJ Walker, XFL, I was a big XFLer. That's where I got my start. I was writing for XFL. So I love him. And if he can get the ball out there, we had his over earlier at, 92.5. So, I really like him a lot. So him or Dwayne Haskins, you want to stack him up. David Moore, Anthony Johnson, either one of those guys could be stacked up there as a wide receiver quarterback stack. I always love them, especially in preseason. If one is going to go off, they're probably going to be tied to a wide receiver. So and in preseason, you're not in as long, so you got to hit that wide receiver if you're going to go for it. So we're going David Moore. He hasn't played that much. See what he can do there. Normally I'd say Terrence Marshall because he's there all the time. I don't even know how much play he's going to get because he's been doing so well. Maybe they don't need to see much from him. So, but David Moore, in these kind of games, we talked about it earlier. Sometimes they play players, sometimes they do not play players, depending on, in the Eagles situation, availability, injury, trying to get chemistry. And so in this situation, we'll kind of fade and see what happens with Terrence Marshall. I don't know if he plays, but if he does play, he's not a bad play ever. I'm not sure how much fun he does get. So running backs wise, we've got a couple there. Ty Johnson, if he does play, I like him. Really, any Jets running backs against the Eagles. The Eagles are not very good. And then Jordan Wilkins. Jordan Wilkins is probably going to get a little more run. I don't know, how many starters are going to play. Before there was talk of Naeem Hines getting some attention. I don't think he's going to play, though. So Jordan Wilkins, I think, is the guy there for Indianapolis. And then if Jerick McKinnon does play, I like his pass catching ability. So a little sneaky PPR stuff right there. But I would say the hardest part about these DraftKings slates is just what the coaches want is way, way, way different than what we want in these games. And in the regular season, at least we know that they want to score points and they want to win. And in these games, they want to see who can play and who can fit their scheme. So it's a little bit more challenging. So when we hit last week, we do want to do that, as Mike, my podcast partner over on the FF Millionaires calls me, toots. I get a little, you get toots. You got to just, toot your own horn. Not to say you're great, but to say hopefully somebody made some money off of it, because I can't use PrizePicks in Maryland yet because it's not legal. So other people hopefully can and win money. That's what I want. I want you guys to win so you can be successful. So, Lauren, this is great so far. I'm loving it. And hopefully we can just keep the cash flowing through our picks.
We will, but before we keep going, because I know there's another aspect of what we can do with this. It's DraftKings Sportsbook is another way we can do it. But yeah, toot your own horn for sure, because you are here to help me make money, my friend. And all of this and every great pick was all on you last time. And this is why we have these experts like Scott to be here to help us with PrizePicks, with DraftKings, because this is what makes it even more fun. But what actually is really sad is not only do I have a now outdated Matthew Stafford signed Lions helmet that I stole from my husband, but it was buried behind all of my books from high school, which I did read, actually. It's the Canterbury Tales and Emma and, behind my trophy. I hid it. That's how sad it is. That's how sad it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what.
There's nowhere else I can go with that.
If you want to make some money, here's what I would do. I'm going to say in the Lions game, take the under. It's a little juicy. It's at plus 115. Ooh. I like that. That's a little juicy there. 33.5. It's kind of a low total, but if the Colts can keep the Lions at bay, if they score 20 points, it's okay. Even 24 points. If they can keep them under 10 points, maybe 7 points, maybe 3. I think they've got a good chance of hitting this. If you want to fade it, you got a little bit of the juice there with you. It takes a little bit away. So they do these lines pretty well. I like the action they're trying to spin. And I do think that the Colts, they're not going to be taking the top off the ball completely. I think they're still going to be trying to figure things out. So that's a nice little low number if you want to shoot the under on any games. And then when you go just straight up with the number, the Jets at -4, that was really intriguing. I think the Jets are just headed in a different direction than the Eagles are. They're just kind of two teams on different paths right now. One is a slower, trying to get to know you path. The other, we'll call him Rob Saleh over there, Rob Salala. He's ready to go. He's crushing it. He's a man's man, and so
he really is. I mean, he doesn't need to bite kneecaps. I'm sorry, because I do love Dan Campbell so much, but isn't he like the kind of guy where you walk into the room, you'd be like, oh, he's a big deal, and like he's important and knows things. Like that's what I think of when I see him.
And he gets you pumped. You see him out there like yelling at players to get them going and in lines and drill lines and stuff. Like that's what you love as
awesome
football player. So yeah, I think the team's heading in different directions there for me. So those are kind of two bets I think I would take if Maryland would hurry up and let us gamble. Come on, we passed it last year. The people have spoken. We want our DraftKings. We want our PrizePicks. We want our gambling. Come on, legislature, let's go.
That's right. The people have spoken, and that is such a bummer because I have it here in Florida. So I'm still gonna rake all that in, all of that knowledge, and I'm gonna try to help everybody else who has a chance to use those things. Maryland, come on, pick up the pace. Let's get our buddy Scott to be able to have some fun here with preseason. Besides just doing all the research for us to be able to profit from. And I mean, I like that idea that I can at least be non-woeful in my by proxy Lions fandom because my husband is a Lions fan. So I really like that take that you had there with the Colts game. Digging it. So before we wrap up, tell everybody where they can find you. What are you working on so that the masses can understand how cool you are?
Oh, well, thank you so much. Right now, I'm working on a list of chores my wife has for me. It'll begin as soon as this podcast. Oh, no, a different thing I'm working on. Well played. Yes. No, I'm working on a wide receiver 2 theory article for the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I dropped it on my own website, nimblewnumbers.com. It's come out. This is the second year. Last year, I predicted Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Deontay Johnson, DK Metcalf, all these wide receiver twos who would elevate their game. So this year, got a new batch of guys going in there. But I'm working on it for the Sports Gambling Network, turning it into a draft. So how would you actually draft with this strategy? I have to finish it tonight. I'm going to work on it as soon as I get done here. It should be coming out tomorrow, just like you're working on your NBC Sports Edge article. So, I mean, there's just so much stuff going on. And then tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing another show with Laquan. Love him. I'm so excited to be working with him over here. He's the man that's going to be over here on the Mayo Media Network. And then on Friday, I'm doing Chalk Block with Bo McBig Time. Really excited. We're talking DFS, talking about the upcoming season. And then on Saturday and Sunday, 2 glorious home league drafts, which I cannot wait to dominate in all their glory. I've just been waiting for a year for this. So I can't wait. Check me out, nimblewnumbers.com on Twitter. And then Stepmom Lauren, you're on Twitter too, aren't you? Don't you put an @ in front of Stepmom and then we're there with Lauren? Yeah.
At Stepmom Lauren. In fact, I'm very consistent all across the board. My website is stepmomlauren.com. I'm at Stepmom Lauren. It's very simple. Don't Google it. It's not safe for work, but it's not me. Just letting everybody know. It's a true thing. Trust me, I had to combat this. Good thing I build websites for a living, and I was able to push her over to page 2. So with that being said, Scott, thank you so much again for joining us. I know this is not going to be the last time that we talk about all these silly things like my closet lion fandom and how much I don't like the Rams because they went back to LA, and I'm totally fine with that because I'm a Saints fan now. So I also have a lot of drafts coming up this weekend too. In fact, I have like 2 at the same time. So one of them is a live draft. One of them is phone draft. So this is going to be like a testament of my severe ADHD, and I'm going to crush it. That's going to be fantastic.
Your acumen will be through the roof. I know that.
So far you used acumen and plethora. I am digging these, especially that acumen drop. That was pretty awesome.
Yours. Yeah. 3rd grade. Yeah.
3rd grade? What? Would you go to Harvard in 3rd grade? Who uses acumen in 3rd grade?
I teach 3rd grade. I'm just saying. #.
No, I thought you said you learned it in 3rd grade. I'm like,
no.
Okay, weirdo.
Oh no, I'm not.
I went to private Catholic all-girls school, so if anyone's gonna be talking, no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I did go there, but
those are the words that I just drop on my students in 3rd grade because they like words. If you just drop a cool word every day for a student,
what does that mean?
They remember it, especially when you do it and you say, "Hey, I like your acumen." They're like, "What? I got acumen? What the hell?" So it's fun being a teacher.
I took a shower today. What do you think?
What is that, man? I don't even know what that is.
It's not ramen noodles, kids. It's something totally different.
Good.
So thank you. So, I mean, this is like the 3rd time I've said thank you, but thank you again. I always love doing these shows with you, Scott. It's so much fun. And everybody who followed along with us, everyone who is putting in their prize picks, except for poor Scott, and who are building up DFS lineups and going ahead and taking any of those sportsbook options from DraftKings, good luck this weekend. Hit us up on social media. Let us know how you did, because I am also following along with this too. And good luck. We will see you next week.